All right, let me quickly cut across to Priyanka Upendra, who's an actor. She's worked across industries. She's married to a South Indian. Upendra is a Kannada superstar. She herself has acted in the Hindi film industry as well. Priyanka, thank you very much for speaking to India today. You're looking lovely.
Thank you. Hi.
You know, we're looking at this debate that's erupted from Karnataka post the India Today Karnataka Tak's interview with Sudeep, where he said, you know, Hindi is no more the national language, considering that South films are doing enormously well in terms of revenue generation, are being valued a lot more than Hindi films in the Hindi market. So what is the national language today? There is no national language. And now this, of course, has rubbed a few of them the wrong way. Ajay Devgn slamming, saying, no, Hindi is indeed our national language. It will always be our national language. Your take on that? You're a North Indian, married to a South Indian.
Yes, very much. I actually speak both Hindi and Kannada.
Yeah.
My kids speak Hindi, Kannada, and Bengali. So, you know, I've grown up abroad. So, you know, I've had a very flexible upbringing in that sense. But definitely, I think what Sudeep wanted to say was that today with South Indian films, you know, crossing barriers, in a sense, regional barriers have been crossed, and all over India and all over the world, people are watching, you know, South Indian languages. I think he just felt proud about that fact of recently. I think RRR and KGF, of course, we are so proud of those films doing well everywhere. Even in, in West Bengal, KGF has done immensely well, is doing immensely well. So I think what he meant was that their language isn't a barrier anymore. You know, like everybody loves watching cinema, and everybody loves watching all kinds of language cinema today. So I have actually worked in almost all the regional industries. I've worked in Hindi, I've worked in Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Bengali, Uriya. So for me, actually, it's never been a barrier. I always love learning new languaes. And, you know, I take pride in speaking Kannada. Nange Kannada tumbane ishta. Nanu illi almost 19 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ I'm in Karnataka. So, ಬಹಳ ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So, you know, I'm very happy to speak Kannada. ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. I have learned Hindi. My actually grandparents are from Mehlabad, that side, Pakur. So, Aurela, you know, they used to speak Hindi, and I learned Hindi as a second language. So, I think that I don't know what the debate is, if it's about language, because I think we are all Indians, and I think that we should all just celebrate being Indian, and, you know, just that our movies are, you know, going all over the world and, you know, creating a ripple. I think we are one big Indian film industry now, and we are all actors in the Indian film industry, which is causing ripples in the world. So I think, you know, instead of arguing about things that don't make sense, we should just celebrate being Indian, and that our films are doing so well everywhere.
You know, but I'd still like to ask you, do you believe that one language can ever be a unifying language in a country as linguistically diverse as ours?
Well, you know, it is kind of difficult because there are so many different regions and languages, and people speak Hindi, they speak English, and you know, in the South, predominantly people speak the South Indian languages, like in Tamil Nadu they speak Tamil, and Andhra they speak Telugu. Here we speak, in Bangalore it's kind of cosmopolitan, where I mean, there are a lot of people from all over India here, especially students. So I wouldn't like to comment on that, but definitely I think for me, especially the more languages you know, the better. So I've always aspired to learn, especially where I am. See, being in Bangalore, Kannada, I had to learn I had to learn Kannada because I felt that it was important for me to know Kannada. So my kids and me. So for me, it was very important. The same way as when, you know, you go, if Upi comes to Calcutta, you know, people would like if he speaks a few words in Bengali. So they feel happy that way. So I think respecting each other's cultures, respecting each other's languages, and, you know, having, you know, unity in that is more important than just thinking about things which, you know,
in your view, from what I understand, there is no one unifying language for India. It's very hard to give that status to any one language.
That would be difficult, yes.
All right, Priyanka, really appreciate you joining us with that, you know, but if you can stay on, we'll be happy to. Upendra, what's Upendra's
I'm going to leave now.
Yeah, you were rushing out.
Actually, I have to go out, actually.
Upendra, quick word on what Upendra thinks on this.
I actually haven't spoken to him. He's in Mysore, but I'm sure he'll speak to you guys soon about what he thinks as
Awesome.
well.
All right. Thank
'Cause
you.
I'm sure
Thank
he
you,
has.
Priyanka. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Really appreciate it. Let me quickly cut across to Harshika Poonacha, who's also joining us. We have Indrajit Lankesh. Harshika, you are a star in the Kannada film industry, but given an opportunity, you definitely jump on an opportunity if it came from Bollywood. You've in fact even done something in different languages. What do you think as Hindi as a unifying language? Can you give a status to one language in a country as diverse as ours, to be the national language, to be crowned as the national language?
Right. Hi, Nabila. Like, I would just go with what Priyanka ma'am just spoke, because I exactly fall in the same place where Priyanka ma'am is, because even she's worked in so many industries and I've also worked in so many languages. I've acted in 8 languages like Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Tulu, Konkani, Kodava, Bhojpuri. So
Wow.
Bhojpuri is my 8th language. So it's definitely been, language has been never been a barrier for me, and it's always been a bridge. You know, I've become close to people from Tamil, people from Telugu and Kannada, of course. You know, I've been here since 12 years now. So language has always brought people to me, brought people together, given me more fans, given me more love, and I would never make language a barrier in my life. And this is like the most difficult topic I could talk about, because I always
But can you do you
consider
consider Hindi as a link language? Do you look at Hindi as
Hindi
one
is
common link
definitely-
language?
Definitely when it goes to north. Now when I started working in Bhojpuri industries, obviously I cannot start off with Bhojpuri. I cannot start talking Bhojpuri at, you know, on day one. So I initially started talking in Hindi, and that's how I connected to those people. And after I learned Bhojpuri, you know, bits and pieces, I started talking in Bhojpuri. So I think language has always been, you know, something which connects people. And Hindi, yes, of course, when you go to the north, people there obviously understand Hindi, so you need to speak Hindi there. And again, when you come to Karnataka, illi Kannada ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲೇಬೇಕು, Kannada ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಲೇಬೇಕು. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದವರೆಲ್ಲ Kannada ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. And the funny part is, everyone who comes to Bangalore, they think that, you know, people will come here and learn Kannada, but end of the day, all Kannadigas will learn the other languages.
Yeah, so well,
really,
that shows
everyone
how
talks-
accommodating Kannadigas are, and even generally people of the South have
Exactly.
learned Hindi mostly through Bollywood films, which at one point was such a huge industry, and you know we ardently watched Bollywood films, and people, I think that's how the South Indians know Hindi so well. Today we're seeing the
Yes.
same kind of money and this huge industries even down south, and that's why we see that, you know, people of the north are now getting slowly sensitized to the movies of the south and languages of the south. Indrajit, a quick word on that. Do you believe that Hindi can be a one link unifying language against all others?
No, Nabila, not at all. I completely agree with my friend Sudeep on this. And even though I'm a great admirer of Ajay Devgn as an actor, but I think Ajay Devgn is a little bit ill-informed, because Hindi is not a national language. It is under the Constitution. It never comes under the Constitution as a national language. Of course, we speak Hindi in Bangalore, and Nabila, you being from Bangalore as well, you know about the diversity in Bangalore in itself as a cosmopolitan city. And I, for one, we believe in unity in diversity. So, of course, the BJP's idea of nationalism has clicked. But I'm sorry to say the advice what they have been given as a national language as Hindi is completely flopped in South India. Because you know about the Dravidian movement in Tamil Nadu, you know about the Gokak Chalavali in Karnataka, which Dr. Rajkumar P. Lankesh and others started in Karnataka as a Kannada as a main language in Karnataka. And of course, there's Hyderabad, Gujarat, a lot of places, their language, there's a big, huge struggle and a history for the fight for their own language. And I'm proud that I'm a Kannadiga, and I make Kannada films as well as I've made Hindi films. But when somebody asks me about what's your mother tongue, what's your language, it's Kannada, because we come from Bangalore, Karnataka, South India. And India is, of course, divided because of the linguistic differences. And
Yeah, but
linguistic,
would you still consider English over Hindi? Is that your take?
See, English for some extent, of course, Bangalore is so popular because of the background of English education. And across the world, the Bangaloreans are famous for their IT, BT, and of course, social media. But and I'm so proud also to be a Kannadiga because, as you know, Nabila,
So
that
for
the
you, it's
highest number.
English and Kannada. Indrajit, it's English and Kannada. Hindi falls nowhere in the spectrum.
To be right, it's Kannada and English. It's not English and Kannada, but first comes Nam Kannada,
Ashika,
Amil English.
Hindi over English. If there is one language that could really unify according to you, what would you choose? And what is it for you in order?
Okay, of course it's Kannada because I work here.
Yeah.
I'm here since 12 years now. So Kannada is obviously my
And
first
you are
choice.
Kannadiga. You are Kannadiga. Yeah.
Yes, of course. I'm Kannadiga. I'm Kodavati. I mean, of course, I'm from Coorg, and we also have another language there that is Kodava language. But my language, which has given me everything, is Kannada. So obviously, Kannada is my first preference, and then comes the other languages. So mine would be Kannada, English, and then Hindi.
Kannada, English, and Hindi. So clearly, we are looking at English and the local language, whichever in terms of Karnataka, then it's Kannada. Then for Tamils, it's for Tamil Nadu, it's Tamil. For Kerala, it's Malayalam, and so on. You have northeastern states who have their own language and yet find it easier to communicate in English versus Hindi. So this is the debate that we see raging on, but really appreciate both of you for joining us, Indrajit and Harshika, on that. This Star Wars has really exploded post the Karnataka Tak interview with Sudeep, who says that Hindi is no more a national language, to which Ajay Devgn stormed in, slamming him, saying Hindi indeed is our national language. Will this debate end? Well, India Today continues to keep the spotlight on.